Welcome back.
Welcome back to another week
and another episode. We are reaching the end of our season 2, which is insane.
Slowly but surely. It's so wild how quickly this is going.
That goes,
But
it has been a good season.
It's been a good season, and it's been so much fun.
It has.
Very weird still. It's still a very weird concept that we're sitting in my living room.
Chatting to camera.
Just chatting to camera, but very cute. No, anyway, definitely.
Today, we thought we would bring you into our personal life and share a little view into what our days in life look like. A lot of people that have been following our journeys of like leaving our corporate jobs and us pursuing creative passions have asked us, how does your day look? Because I think it's a very unconventional work day. And so we've been meaning to share more about it, and we finally have a spot for it, and we'd love to bring you into our world.
Yes, no, 100%. Ours obviously looks wildly different as well with the podcast, and we have so many different projects like running at the same time.
Yes.
So this is just our life. Our life.
And you'll see both our days look also very different. And what we do. But and I think we should also preface it by saying most of our days don't look the same. Like every single 100%. Day is so different. But that's the joy about doing your own thing is just having the freedom to reshuffle our days as we please.
Exactly. No, definitely.
So that's nice.
It's something that I chased for such a long time.
Exactly.
To be able to have that flexibility. And obviously with that flexibility comes a lot of responsibility. But you learn so much from it, and your what's the word? Like your self-control.
Yes.
So important.
Very, very important.
And self-discipline. But it is so rewarding to be able to structure your life exactly in the way that you like want it to be.
I agree with you.
And have that level of flexibility, which is really cool.
I think let's start with just a basic overview of each of our weeks and days, and then we can go deep into it.
Okay, Laurie, start us off. What does an average day in the life look like?
Look like for me. I'm gonna start off with my week and kind of zoom in.
Okay.
Because a lot of structure comes from like what I plan within a week, which is one of our days in a week is running with episodes, which you would be surprised how much something like that structures my week. Just putting out one day, knowing that one day I come to Joburg and we shoot. And I like to take one day for personal life. So that's another reason why I actually really enjoy my flexible work schedule, is that I can focus on like personal stuff, whether it's personal admin, home stuff, whatever it may be. Okay, so those are like 2 days out of my week already. And then obviously 3 days I work on NBW The Label, which is my main business. So then on my daily basis, now we're going to zoom in.
Okay. Yeah.
I like to have a workout early in the morning, and it's like a set time, set place with people who keep me accountable, because otherwise I would sleep until who knows what hour of the day, because there's no responsibility. So I like to do an early workout. It just gets my day started and forces me to wake up very early. And then from there I get normally, depending on where I work, if I work at home or at my office space or whatever, I'd get some admins done. I really struggle to keep up with social media stuff, so that's always the first thing I do in the morning, so that it's just off my plate, and while I still have lots of energy. And then it's a mix between whatever needs to be done, whether that's packing orders, going to the shops. But basically work, let's just umbrella it into work from 7-8 o'clock, depending on what time my day starts, until 2. So I like to end my day quite early if I can. Just works for my lifestyle. And so by 2 or 3 I'm done with my work day, and then I'm free and open to do with my day whatever I like.
That's so cute. I love it.
But that's basically it. It's that's the very loose structure I have for myself set.
I think that's the thing, is like you said, we like every day looks different, and like my Monday from this week is going to look very different to my Monday for next week, and that's fine. That's the beauty of working for yourself. But for me, I love structure. I really do. but I also get very bored of structure. And so I have to like set up a structure that adds enough value for me to not be able to get out of it.
Yeah.
Because then I feel lost, if that makes sense. And so from a weekly overview perspective, obviously there's one day for filming Running with Scissors, and then the editing of Running with Scissors takes up quite a bit of my time as well. And then the rest of my week is usually structured around running my business.
Yeah.
And then more in like a zoomed in day to day, I usually wake up anywhere between 5 and 7. I'm not a workout early in the morning type of gal. I do love me some of that, but I hate going to the gym early in the morning when there's a million people in there and it's like just like ants everywhere. And that's the beauty of working for yourself, is you can go to the gym at any time of the day. I love it so much. And so the first hour of my day is usually just like getting the house ready, like washing the dishes, doing laundry, like it's like my personal brain time. And then from there, I will jump into work until usually like 10 or 11, then go to the gym for an hour and then come back, shower, and then finish my workday. I try and finish my workday early-ish as well.
Yeah.
But usually I must say I get very distracted after coming back from the gym, and then I only start my workday again around like 3 or 4.
Okay.
And then I work until like 7, 8, which is very chilled because you have a husband, right? It's just me.
Yeah, you can work until whatever time.
Yeah. So usually I enjoy working at night. So I'll like take the afternoon and then work at night for like a few hours. But the structure is usually hour in the morning for myself, listening to a podcast or reading my Bible or cleaning the house or whatever it may be. And then jumping into work, going to gym somewhere in the middle. And yes, one thing that I do struggle with though, and I'll go into it in more detail later, is the fact that I'm such a people pleaser. And so I do jump up and down when someone needs me to help with something or whatever it may be. So that usually like throws off a lot of my structure of the day. But yes, basically that's the gist of it. Yeah.
Very, very rough overview, because as we've said a million times, it can look so different every single day.
Exactly.
And also, like, we have tried in the past to like say, okay, for example, Tuesdays are filming days. But most weeks, that just doesn't work out. Like, we work with each other's schedules and kind of like figure it out. But yeah, that's the gist of it, or the overview. I think some things that like people, because I can completely understand, and we've gotten this a lot, both of us. If you hear our day, like we have just detailed, it sounds very glamorous, doesn't it?
And relaxed.
Sounds so like easy, days so open, whatever. But there's definitely some things we don't often talk about on social media or just talk about in general life, but we'd love to talk about it with you. And so just to show you that part of it as well, because we'll be lying if we said it's always fantastic and it's always easy.
And the flexibility is always great.
Yes.
And we're always so disciplined.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that I can speak on is that because we are doing our own thing mostly we are doing our own thing completely with both our businesses. Every single responsibility, unless outsourced, falls on you, and even outsourced stuff falls on you still for final approval, for whatever it may be. And so the reality of crisis control every single day, things not going as it should, is definitely a massive part of our days or on our weeks. Filling in things. I remember the first time I got customer complaints about products or needing things to be sent back, I was completely disheveled, and I've spoken about it on this podcast before. But things like that, like, throw your routine completely.
So there's a balance for both of us. So I have a service-based company and Laurie has a product-based company, right? But still, both our days are filled with vendor management and client management, and that's basically all you do 24/7 in the background, right? So you are constantly dealing with people, constantly dealing with complaints, constantly dealing with trying to manage people, trying to manage emotions. Like, there's so many things going on at the same time. But I agree with what you said. Like, it all sounds glamorous. Oh, you work from home and you're just at home 24/7 and like you can do whatever you want whenever you want. Yes, but I still need to be able to pay rent.
Yeah, so that's another part of it. Financially, it's not as stable.
Exactly, yeah. But that's the whole thing is I need to, fair enough, I have the flexibility, it's beautiful, but I need to still put in the work to be able to get something else and to build a life that I want, right?
And on that, a lot of times the hours we put in equals to the amount of money we make in our companies.
Yeah.
Like it's
the
a very
input
direct
equals the output,
yeah, it's a very direct link, which can be very stressful. And I remember actually the first time I took holiday when I quit teaching and started my business. So my husband also works in kind of a direct how hard you work equals the amount of money you make because he works in commission. And people often comment about how he can't switch off on holidays, but he's super passionate about what he does. And I used to not 100% understand that until I took my first holiday working for myself. And I literally turned to him, I was like, I can completely understand what you go through every time. Because mainly just like, if I'm not working, I'm not making money. If I'm not, like, no one else is going to do this except me. Literally no one else. Well, that's our case at the moment where both our businesses stand. Like we are still 100% in control of almost every aspect.
Exactly.
So that mental load, like I do envy almost people who can take leave and say, cheers for 10 days, switch off their laptops and leave, because that's not a reality for us always.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think that's one of like the negative sides of starting your own thing, right? There's so many like pros that come with having your own business, but there's also so many cons with having your own business. The reality is that some days I don't necessarily have work to do because I've done everything that needs to be done.
That's such a hard one to deal with.
And like I want to be productive, but what do I do type thing. Sometimes it's very demotivating when you're doing all this work and you're marketing and you're doing all these things, but you're not getting the client base that you want, if that makes sense. So the reality is you're not busy every single day, even when you want to be, especially if you're in those motivated days and things are just not playing out the way that you want them, or your content's not getting the engagement that you want, or your clients or potential clients are not getting back to you, whatever it may be, there are a lot of demotivating moments in that as well. It's
something we had to almost unlearn because we're so conditioned to like busy equals successful. We had to unlearn that because I had a big learning lesson this year with it, because I was waiting for, it was like waiting for a supplier, waiting for this to happen, waiting for someone to send me this before I could do anything. And
exactly.
The amount of patience you need to have with yourself, being like, it's not, like I can physically not make this process faster. Like it's a waiting game.
Yeah.
And that means that I have a week where my admin and my everything is minimal and I finish my work within 2 hours of my day. It can be super frustrating. Although, again, it sounds luxurious, sounds amazing. It's a mental battle you have with yourself every single day, reminding yourself that that's okay to sometimes have a ton of work and sometimes to have no work at all and finish at 10 in the morning.
Exactly. But like you said, it's the same thing that like our input is equal to our output.
Yeah.
So it feels so frustrating when you don't have that amount of work or like a certain amount of orders or a certain amount of like active projects.
Yes.
Because then I'm like, okay, but obviously nothing is working. Where that's not the truth. No. But then there's the other side of the coin where it's super busy season and I can't keep up and I'm working like at night and I'm just trying to like stay ahead of everything and you're running around like a crazy person. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to say.
You definitely have those.
You have the days where there's nothing going on. You have the days where it's like there's just too much and it's only you and you're the only person who can do the things. Yeah. It's not as glamorous as it looks. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. And it's really stressful. Like if you don't have anything to do, you're kind of just like, okay,
shit,
this is really scary. And like, what am I doing? Did I make a mistake? Whatever. Like there's so many scary factors that play into it and like self-doubts and insecurities and so many things. But yeah.
The last point I think we can talk about, like one of the negative sides, is because you're so go with your like and on your own timeline, on your own, just on your own devices. Those moments we go through where you have those creative burnouts where like, it's tortiso, like you're done. And again, it's like giving yourself those moments of rest, allowing yourself those moments of rest to just like regain your energy. But there's a balance because again, our input equals our output, and like it's all on us. So it's like a balance of I need to get this done and I need to put a product out there, or I need to, put a pitch out there, or I need to get this event done, versus like I need to also balance my own health and my own strength and my own, well-being. But I think we're lucky with that is being like, for me, when I take my personal day in my week, like I can allow myself to breathe and to do things that fill my cup in other ways, which then results into my creative cup being filled again, or being able to ask other people's advice, like other people's opinions, and so on and so forth.
No, definitely. And I think like you said, like creative burnout is so real. The biggest thing, and I think what people don't realize, is if you work for yourself, there's no one who's going to tell you what to do. You are the only one who is going to tell you what to do. Like,
literally.
If I'm working on a project, or I'm working on a new pitch, or I'm working on a new whatever it may be, I am a perfectionist at the end of the day, and it's really, really, really tough for me to be happy with the work that I put out. Like it takes weeks and weeks and weeks of building and working on literally just one document and making sure it's perfect, and then redoing it completely, and then redoing it again, and then asking like 10 different people for advice, and then all their advice is like counterintuitive, and then I'm like, I don't know what's going on,
what to do anymore,
because I'm so stressed because I want everything to be so perfect. I recently changed my pitch, and redid the whole pitch deck, and I have stared at that pitch deck for hours and hours and hours and hours, and I've asked multiple people for advice and what they think and how they would
do it otherwise,
react to seeing it, or what emotion it evokes, whatever it may be, and it's exhausting because there's no manager to just tell you, what, it's good, I'm happy with it, you can send it out. There's no like marketing director to do it for you, and you're just managing your everyday work. It's like we said a few episodes ago, like you literally handle everything. We do the marketing, we do the operations, we do the communication, we do the client management, we do the finances, we do the tax, we do the flipping everything. And
you name it, we do it.
Exactly. Being a perfectionist through all of it, really tough. And if you're not in a space where your company is at a comfortable, in like a financially comfortable space, you can't be outsourcing. Like you can't afford to outsource a lot of these projects that are difficult, if that makes sense. Like the design or the marketing or the tax or whatever it may be, you know what I mean? The creative burnouts.
It's definitely real.
It's real. It's real. And the more you stare at a document, the uglier it gets, unfortunately.
The amount of times, and was probably one of the most frustrating things this entire year, is the amount of samples I have in my like office space that I did not launch because a beautiful idea, got the sample, and I was like, I absolutely hate this. And there's no one to be like, if you just, change the seam like this or do this or whatever, you might like it more. It's like all on me, and I couldn't see any potential in the product, unfortunately. But it's super frustrating because then you start doubting your abilities and your capabilities, and which, anyway, long story short.
No, but that's
real.
That's so true. Is I've worked for someone, and it's a lot easier to work for someone and have someone tell you what to do and give you tasks and like give you just KPIs and structure, than working for yourself and having to figure out all the little things that needs to be done. Because a lot of it you're just figuring out as you go. You're like, oh, I need to do this. I didn't think of this. I didn't think that was a thing even. Now I'm like 6 months into the business, and now I need this,
No, very true.
It is very complex, but it's very fun.
It is quite fun. But even on top of like all the difficulties we face, it is such a blessing to be able to control most of our day, to have breakfast dates whenever we want, to be able to extend, like to be able to jump when anyone needs us. Like it's such a blessing to be able to do that. Although there are definitely, I think the biggest thing is the biggest message we want to put out there with this is don't think it's the easy way out. It's not like the easy thing, easy option. We get that a lot.
Yeah, no, 100%.
It's definitely not, yeah.
So I think the biggest thing is we're not trying to say that the fact that we have flexibility is better and our lives are better and like we have the best lives and we're like
the cheat code for,
yeah, exactly, and we're above everyone else. Definitely not. It's just a personal preference. And for me, like, I just remember sitting in an office and thinking surely there's more to life than sitting in an office for 12 hours a day. And that was just for me, and that's why I refused to stay in that space, and that's why and that's what drives me to like build something, right? Yeah. So it's just a personal preference. It's just depending on what you want for your life. Fair enough, we don't have that level of stability that like I used to have when I worked in corporate, but I have a lot of joy and this is very fulfilling to me, right? Yeah. So it's all about what I want, what you want. We all want different things and that's okay. We're not saying that our lives are better.
And everyone should do this.
Exactly. Nope. Our lives are better for us,
and
if that makes sense, and for our lives and what we want to achieve and what we want our lives to look like. And so, yeah, basically.
That's it. I think something we want to touch on as well is like habits we swear by, things we've learned. So I've been doing this for this year 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually long. Anyway, 2 years of working for myself.
And I am just over a year in now. Yes.
Yeah. So we've learned a lot about what works for us and works for our days. So if you are moving into a season where you're starting to work for yourself, or even just working at home, because I feel like because it takes a lot of self-control and a lot of like self-management. So what are things that we have implemented that we swear by?
Yeah.
So one of the things for me is, I've said it's waking up early and starting your day early. Like, I know that sounds so cliche and literally every second Instagram video and inspirational things tells you, but I swear by it.
Yeah.
Something about starting my day early just makes me feel so much more productive. I can get 60% of my stuff done before 10 in the morning.
Yes.
Like, that's a successful day to me. That's my first thing. And secondly would be put away your phone.
Yes.
I know, again, every inspirational video tells you don't be on social media, but truly my most productive days at home working for myself is when I put away my phone, specifically social media. Again, we work on social media a big part of our day, so that doesn't count. Personal social medias, put that away. It's just as if my day just flows so much better if I just
exactly. No, 100%. And it's interesting. Now, I also don't want to be all lectury.
Yeah.
But I recently read a book called The Dose Effect by TJ Powers. 100% recommend. Okay, amazing. And it touches on all the different chemicals in your brain and how to basically get the most out of your brain and how to set up your day, if that makes sense. And social media is one of the worst ones because it reduces your dopamine so wildly, and dopamine is your motivational chemical. So as soon as you start scrolling in the morning, you're screwed. Basically, you're going to lose all your motivation, and everything's going to drop, which is your motivational chemical. So why would you do that?
Why would you do that?
You know? So I'd highly recommend reading that book. But I completely agree with you. For me, waking up early in the morning is so important. If I wake up any time after 8, I literally feel like my day is gone. And I'm so disappointed in myself.
I just feel like you have no time left.
Exactly.
nothing can be done.
100%.
I agree with you.
But even when that happens, it's fine. I just try and take it one step at a time, not be mad at myself. And then I don't take my hour in the morning for myself. And I'm like, fine, you ruined it. So now you just have to work.
Just start working.
Immediately. Yeah, exactly. So getting up early, very important to me. Yes. Going to the gym, very important.
I agree.
Just moving getting out of that space, moving your body.
And on that, getting out of the house. Because when you work from home and everything happens in your house, you can... I feel very slumped after like the day's work because it just feels like I'm trapped in a box. So whether that is going to the gym, quickly running to a shop to get a coffee, whatever it may be.
Just get out
of the space and come back. I feel so much better.
Yeah.
The other thing, that I swear by is to-do lists. I started to-do list every single week. On Sunday night, I type a whole list of things that needs to be done.
Okay.
And for some reason, I think sometimes so many things need to be done.
Yeah.
But I just don't know where to start because, again, no one's telling you what to do when.
Exactly.
And so then whenever I feel like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do next, or I have nothing left, then I go through that to-do list and I'm like, okay, no, actually, I can do A, B, and C. And I just go do it.
Yeah.
That really helps me stay on track.
Yeah. No, definitely. Like you said, getting out of the house, so important to just get yourself out of the space. So I love getting out of the house. I love working from a coffee shop.
Yes,
so when I feel like there's too much going on in my brain and I'm not being productive, or I'm like being on my phone too much, or whatever it may be, then I'll go to my favorite coffee shop with my headphones and just work there for a few hours until they close. Interact with people, very important. Like you said, to-do list, it changes the game. And it's so rewarding to just tick it off,
And there's something, so a creator on TikTok I saw, and she started a series with How Long Does It Really Take? That's the title.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things that you put off, especially when you're running your own business and there's just tasks you don't like.
Yeah.
Then she would time herself. She's like, how long does it really take to organize her desk, whatever?
Yeah.
It's all she's been putting off for 2 months. And so she times herself and she's like, it actually just took 15 minutes and it's literally was not that bad, but you kind of like psych yourself out. So I've started doing that with myself. Like, how long can it really take to do this task that I've been dreading to do? And normally it's very quick, or even just to start it. Like, it doesn't have to be done, just get the ball rolling.
That's so true, yeah.
So that helps as well.
So for me, a really, really good one, especially when I'm like overwhelmed and there's just too many things going on, is I do like a full brain dump. And now I'm sure some people will know how to do a real brain dump. I can't remember how to do a real brain dump, so I'm just going to say how I do a brain dump, okay? So making a list of everything that I'm worried about and everything that needs to get done and everything that needs to, like, is stressing me out. It could be anything. It could be like things I need to do, or people or situations, anything and everything. And then taking out the ones that I have control over, because if you think about it, a lot of your worries and a lot of your stresses, you don't have control over them. And then the little list that is now left over for the things you have control over, you then rank them by importance, and then you do them one by one. And then it just like gets everything out. And
clears your mind.
It clears your mind, and it like puts things in perspective, because it's also like, okay, it would be stupid to worry about these things because I can't control them anyway. Brain dumps really
helps a lot.
It's very beneficial to me. Also, like you said, like the whole phone use situation, social media, get rid of your phone while you're working, is in the book, The Dose Effect, that I mentioned. It also goes into like the flow state of things, right? So when your brain goes into flow states, it's basically when you get into that like extreme focus, level of focus, deep focus. It's extremely good for your brain, and it's also just extremely good for productivity. And you can't go into flow state if you have any distractions. And so I try so hard to get into flow state every day. And as soon as I'm in flow state, I am the most productive human for like 3-4 hours at a time, and nothing and no one can touch me, but all my notifications need to be off. And I can just get everything done, and then I can jump out of that flow state and be like, okay, I feel very fulfilled. I did X, Y, and Z. And I'm happy. And everything works. Another one is I love working over the weekends. I know I'm a weirdo, but that's the beauty of working for yourself. Is if you don't want to work on a Thursday, that's fine. You can work on Saturday, whatever it may be, okay? I, for some reason, love working over weekends. I'd rather work over weekends than work in the week, because in the week I can do anything, and like I can go shopping, I can like grocery shopping or whatever, or go to the gym and stuff, and all these places are going to be quiet because everyone's at work. On the weekend though, everything is busy, and so I'd rather be in my house, do my own thing, work, be productive.
So interesting.
And then get all the other stuff done in the week when everything is quiet, if that makes sense.
So interesting.
So it's just about like when you like working,
finding
actually.
what works for you.
Yeah, you don't have to work like the conventional 8 to 5. You can work in the middle of the night if you want, or on a Sunday. It is what it is, like whenever you want to. So weekend working is usually my most productive. I know, I am a weirdo. Okay.
The other thing, I think the last thing on my list was, it's like kind of connected to a flow state, except that for me to get into that like deep focus, I need to put on podcast or music to kind of just like center my brain into one area. And if I put on a podcast, for example, and it's not a plug to listen to all of our podcasts. If I put on a podcast, like now I'm listening to this person's conversation, so I can't be on Instagram, I can't WhatsApp or call other people. Like I'm listening to the conversation and I'm working on what I'm working on.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like just shuts out everything around me and just makes me focus. So when I really need to get things done, I put on a podcast, put on music, whatever, and I'm like, okay, zoom in, and now I'm working. Yeah. Just like finding things that work for you. The other thing, sorry, I said last thing, but it wasn't the last thing, is setting due dates for yourself or like timelines for yourself. Because a lot of times, for me specifically, like there's no due dates to certain launches. It's all in my control.
Yeah.
But putting dates on a product, putting dates on a launch really does help me. And believe me, 90% of the times it does not work out. But mentally, I'm like, for me, this is what I'm aiming for.
Yes.
And we'll work towards that. If I can't, I'll move it out, because there's literally no one keeping me accountable except myself. But just for my own structure, my own focus, like I need to put dates on stuff. Yeah.
But I even do the same with client stuff, and then there is an actual date, right? There's an actual meeting set up, there's an actual deadline for when I need to get stuff done. I will set that deadline for a week in advance or 2 weeks in advance, depending on the client, depending on the project, whatever it may be, so that I know that I am ready, and if anything goes wrong, I still have that extra bit of time. But I know that a week in advance, all my stuff's ready. If the client calls and wants to move the meeting forward, I'm ready, everything works. I agree completely with that. Is setting, if it's for myself, if it's for a client, if it's for whoever, setting a deadline
really helps.
It really helps. Also, achieving that deadline, and sorry, I know I always go into the psychology of things, but is extremely good for your brain, because it means that your brain will slowly but surely start trusting yourself that you are actually going to stick to the things that you said you were going to do. And the more you trust yourself, the better your everything is going to be. Your self-trust, your self-awareness, and just your confidence in general.
Yeah, I agree.
And then to quickly just touch on like apps that we use on a daily basis that like actually structure our lives really well.
Yeah.
Firstly, for me is Notion. Everything, my whole life is in Notion. Everything works in Notion. It takes a while to get used to, but once you're used to it, it's just very cool. It's so great. And then my whole life is in Google Calendar.
I agree with Google Calendar. I've discovered Google Calendar this year. I don't know where it's been my whole life. Okay. But truly, like, it's amazing. It works so nicely.
Exactly.
Like, just to be able to put things in on even people inviting you to stuff. It's so much easier to have everything on one space. I don't know where it has been, honestly.
I love it so much. Yeah, no, Google Calendar has been my saving grace for years.
And I also feel like having different projects. So I have an email for this business, and being able to put it all on one calendar.
Yes.
Flippin' cool. If you haven't tried it, do it.
No, 100%. Yeah. And then, unfortunately, I do have to give a shout out to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And that is only because I use it for planning a lot of my life. For example, if I want to learn something new, or I want to set up a content plan, or I want to just set up a new Notion template, or whatever it may be, is
ChatGPT
asking for a structure and then moving it into my Notion or my Google Calendar, and everything is centralized and it just works.
We do like AI.
Exactly. Yes, I think that would be our few tips and tricks.
Yeah.
We're not trying to, I mean, obviously there were a few people that actually asked for like a day in our life, right? In our lives. But we're not trying to brag. We're not trying to whatever. This is how our lives are played out, and this is the chapter we're in right now. And obviously we run the podcast, we run
A bunch of things, yeah.
Our own separate businesses, and obviously our own households.
Yeah. I think that's the other thing that's really important to remember, especially if you are going into working for yourself, or maybe you are in a 9 to 5 and this life looks really glamorous. You're doing great. Corporate goodies, you're doing fantastic. But don't compare yourself to whoever else and how their work day looks. Like if Nal and I have to compare our days to each other, there's going to be certain parts where I'm going to be like kicking myself, being like, oh, she can do it and I can't, and vice versa. If I look at people who work 9 to 5, like if I have to compare my day to theirs, it's why are we can't compare it. It's literally two different workspaces. We're working to two different goals. It's okay if my day ends at 10 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, 6 in the evening, like whatever it may be, like that's fine, because that's what I need to do to build to my dream and my goal and where I'm getting to. If you're working 9 to 5, like that's your life and that's you working towards a certain goal, which I'm not working to. So our days are going to look so different, and there are challenges and there are pros to both.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think comparison is really the thief of that joy. Definitely.
No, 100%. But it's like you said, the comparison is the thief of that joy. But because as you're explaining it now, I'm like, actually, this is so bizarre, because this is, I don't want to say this is a vulnerable episode, but we are we're opening ourselves up to a lot of critique right now.
Yeah.
And so I think this is scary to an extent, right? But it's only scary because people have this perception that busyness equals success, and working in an office and having this beautiful glamorous job and making millions equals success. And that's the only way that people have, like, you have credibility and people have respect for you, etc., etc. But why is that kind of our measure, if that makes sense? Is we're all just trying our best, we're all just trying to pay our bills. Some people work to live and some people live to work, and we all have different preferences. And so at the end of the day, I can't judge you for wanting to, like, work 3 shifts a day, and you can't judge me for trying to build a flexible, comfortable life, whatever I want it to look like.
Agreed, yeah.
So we're all just chasing different things.
and different dreams. And we put on this earth for different goals.
Exactly.
Every single one of us,
100%. And so, like you said, like, you can't be comparing your work-life balance to someone else's work-life balance. It depends on what you're chasing.
Agree.
Big thing with working for yourself is some days just don't work out, right?
Some days, some weeks, some months.
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah.
I have been sick so many times this year, okay? And you know when you work for a company, you are sick, you go on sick leave.
Even just for a day or two to rest.
Even just for a day or two, you just rest, you just sleep. Where you work for yourself and then you get sick and then you are so demotivated and you don't feel good and you don't want to do anything and you just want to sleep and you feel so guilty for just sleeping because you're supposed to be working. So I've really struggled with this. I think I've had like 3 or 4 weeks out of this year basically that I've been sick and haven't like worked as much as I wanted to.
Yeah.
And those days are really frustrating. I think it's just so important to push through those things and also realize, like, sometimes your body also just pushes you to a point where, like, it's going to crash because you haven't been resting, and you have to listen to it and you have to give it the rest, and you have to have that balance between like rest and like pushing through.
I think the reality is no matter where you are and what space you're working, whatever dream you're chasing, you're going to have hard days and days where you look around you and you're like, oh, everything else except what I'm doing now looks glamorous and amazing and beautiful. And I actually had this conversation with someone else, because we've had this conversation before, but having it with someone else, like totally separate from this podcast, where they said, like, they sort of left something that they did to start something new and they're doing amazing. And they're like, but sometimes I really miss the days I had. And it's very important to remember that you remember the good, which is, I'm so thankful that you remember the good. Like, I remember the good in all the projects I've done in the past. But it's important to remind yourself that there was also bad days and hard days. And there's a reason why you left, a reason why you had to grow from it, and a reason why you're pursuing what you're pursuing now. Yeah. And so just remind yourself on those hard days to remember your why. Why am I doing this? What is my goal? What am I aiming for? And also just to be very patient with yourself on hard days. Like there's, again, I've said this a few times in the episode, but this year has taught me a lot. But there have been hard days, hard weeks, hard months, and being patient with yourself to allow yourself to be the best you can for today.
Yeah.
And if that's not what it might not be what you expect from yourself every single day, but some days this is all you can give. Some circumstances it's all you have, and that's okay. We need to be able to be patient with ourselves and just realize that this is what I have.
Yeah.
It is just me. So you need to be able to just be gracious to yourself on those hard days when things aren't going like you wish it would.
No, definitely.
And trust the process in it as well. Like both of us know that what we're pursuing is what we need to be pursuing now. We're in the right path. Although it's definitely not the easy path always.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think also just like we have the faith aspect as well, where we are quite comfortable in that sense where we feel safe, we feel looked after. And so that's a very big one. I think that plays into both of our lives.
I agree. So just a quick question for you to reflect on, and you can let us know in the comments. Maybe you can help us and give us tips and tricks. But what's one thing you swear by every single day to keep you motivated, to keep yourself productive? One thing
keep you sane.
Yeah, tell us.
Let us know. And then for our favorite segment,
Small Business of the Week.
Very exciting. This week we have a beautiful makeup artist as our Small Business of the Week. Her name is Nura. She is absolutely amazing.
She works here in Joburg, trained at Carl Makeup Academy.
Yes, correct. She is such a sweetheart. I've had the privilege of getting my makeup done by her. She graduated last year from Carl Makeup Academy. She has worked on a bunch of like studio shoots, fashion shows, private clients.
Yeah. She really is passionate about making people feel truly beautiful.
And that's so true. Like I used to be a makeup artist, and it is like the most rewarding part of it is making people feel like extremely beautiful and extremely confident and like the best version of themselves.
Enhancing their beauty. Yeah.
Which I think is beautiful, and that's what like she told us that she loves about like what she does. So yes, we will definitely tag her, and there'll be a few social media posts about her. So please go check her out, book her. She's based in Joburg. She's amazing. She's such a sweetheart.
Yeah. You won't regret it.
Definitely not. Thank you so much for joining this week.
If you have any questions, we are open books. We'd love to answer any questions. Ask away.
Please let us know.
Yeah.
But have the best week, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.